Pretty Squad? What's good, pretty gang? It's your girl, Pretty Girl Liz, and welcome back to my channel. So, as most of you guys know, today is Scary Saturday, but I had a real hard time trying to find what to talk about today. So, I decided to talk about a person more than a thing or a movie or something like that. So, today we will be talking about a person slash he was given the title a serial killer. So he pretty much in the same category as horror movies and stuff like that. But the person I am talking about, y'all, his name is Samuel Little, and most of y'all probably already heard of him because he was a pretty known guy, even though he was really undetected about a lot of the crimes he committed, which was ridiculous to me, honestly. So, without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, you guys, so like I said before, today we will be talking about the serial killer Samuel Little. You guys, he literally, like, full-blown confessed to killing 93 people, majority women. Literally, I think only his victims were women, honestly. But because when I researched it, I didn't hear him about killing no men or anything like that. He only went after women. But the type of women he went after was ridiculous. But that's for, I'm gonna get into that later. Samuel Little was born June 7th, 1940 in Reynolds, Georgia, which I don't think that's very far from here, actually. Actually, I think it is, but that doesn't matter. But I don't want to say sadly, but recently he did become deceased, and that was December 30th, 2020. So it was very recent, actually. It was like 3-4 years ago. And he died in Los Angeles. So when he passed, he wasn't even in his hometown. He was all the way in Los Angeles County. Like, wow. But yeah, so you guys, when I looked up this story, it was just like, my guy, like, what brought you to do that? Like let's be honest, what was it that in your mental state brought you to do all this? Like, it's ridiculous. But that's my opinion. I feel like they say the man had trauma, mental problem. I mean, personally, the stuff that I saw that he did, I don't think that was a mental or trauma problem. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion, you guys. But yeah, so we're gonna start off with his childhood. So it said when I researched that he had a traumatic, abusive, violent childhood, simply because his mom was a prostitute and she was a drug addict herself. So, and she had him at pretty much, I think she was 16 or 17 when she had him, and she pretty much said, I don't want him, and pretty much shipped him off to his grandma's. And when he went to his grandma's, he was pretty much getting abused a lot. So it was just like, yeah. Which I think that pretty much explains the women, why he went after the women he went after. But I'll tell y'all that in a minute. So, oh my god, y'all, this is ridiculous. Like, this is such a hard story for me to tell because, like, y'all, yeah, it's skin crawling. But yeah, so what else? He went on a killing spree from 1970 all the way to 2005. So he had, like I said, 93 murders. He committed 93 murders all the way from 1970 to 2005, you guys. That's ridiculous. And y'all, the thing is, he was arrested like so many times. Like, I think they said like around 100 times. And out of those 100 times, he only served like 10 years because they dismissed a lot of the cases that he had up against him. But yeah, so a lot of them was dismissed against him, which I feel like was ridiculous. You guys, I actually heard this in a video. He was telling a story about a night that he actually murdered one of the women. That's in that 93 count. Um, he said that he had literally just finished killing her, and a cop rolled up on them, and the cop pretty much asked him what he was doing. He was getting out the car, acting like he was zipping up his pants and stuff like that, and then he turned around and told the cop that him and his wife was just having a good time. His wife being the woman that he murdered, you guys, which I will be turning over in my grave if I ever heard my killer call me their wife. Excuse me. But yeah, then he went on to say that the cop actually flashed the light inside the back window and saw the woman's head. I don't want to do how he did it because that was just disturbing, very disturbing. And he pretty much tried to distract the cop so he wouldn't get a second look, that was so sad. And all the cop said was that they needed to get out of there. They weren't allowed to be there. Like, I feel like if he would have wasn't really caring about what he had to say and went to check on the woman, I don't think he would have had the body count that he did. Like, I feel like he wouldn't have had that. But hey, that's my opinion. And then he said in another interview that he literally had a dead body in his trunk and got pulled over by a cop, but the cop never checked the trunk. And it was like, wow, wow. So yeah, it was ridiculous, you guys. Like, and then the method that he used to go undetected for like so long is ridiculous. You guys, he only targeted like prostitutes, people that was just like his mom. And it was just like, wow. Like he said it himself, he only targeted prostitutes, people that pretty much wouldn't have been missed. And I feel like that's very messed up. I feel like that was very messed up. And then he said in an interview, because they was asking him about the ways that he would kill them, and he pretty much said in the interview that he wouldn't use weapons. He didn't like the sight of blood. He would only strangle them. And he pretty much said he wouldn't have it any other way. He wouldn't do it any other way. He wouldn't have it any other way. He admitted to only drowning one of his victims, which at the end of the day, that's still messed up. Like, what? And y'all, the reason for him admitting all of this was because the simple fact of they promised him he wouldn't get the death sentence. That's the only reason why he actually admitted to doing all these killings, because they promised that he wouldn't get the death penalty. Like, what's like, that's ridiculous. They have to promise you your life when you're already behind bars. Like, make that make sense. But that's none of my business. That's none of my business. But there is a fun fact. Well, I wouldn't really call this fun, but there is a fact that this man had more killings than Ted Bundy, the Zodiac Killer, and the Golden State Killer all combined. Like, y'all, they've killed a lot of people. So the fact that he has more than all of them combined is ridiculous. Like, you are one sick person. Like, honestly, like, you got to be one sick person, one sick human being. Like, there's like no other way around it. And then here's another fun fact, actually. The Los Angeles police actually gave him the nickname the choke and stroke killer, because when he used to kill his victims, and all of them were females, he used to do some of the most horrendous, not child appropriate things. And like, wow. Y'all, when I heard that, I was just like, what? That's disgusting, you guys. Like, what? Like, oh my god, like, that's just wow. And then the next, he was actually tied to 2 murders. I don't remember when. Actually, I think I do. But I do know the people for a fact. So one was Melinda Lepre, and her case was actually in 1982. And then you had Patricia Mounts, and I don't remember the year for that one. But y'all want to know the funny part of this? Well, it's not even funny. It's like downright sad. He wasn't found guilty for either one of them, but yet he was at the scene for both of them. Like, they literally connected him to the scene of both murders, you guys. And you had witnesses, all of that. But they said in an interview that the witnesses were always sprung out or on some type of drug, so they could never remember. Like, if you wouldn't got this man description twice in 2 different murders, obviously it's him. Like, what? But at last, you guys, his spree came to an end, you guys, which I'm so happy about. Y'all. I'm so happy about. So he actually got arrested in 2014. He was found at I don't, what is that called? I think it's like he was found at a homeless shelter. Yeah, he was found at a homeless shelter. He was later on convicted of murder, but it was only for like 3 of his victims. They said murder times 8, but it was only for 3. It was only for 3 of his victims. Later on, he did get convicted for the rest of them, but they didn't release the names of those victims. They only released the names of the first 3, and I have those. So it was Carol F. Efford, Aubrey Nelson, and Guadalupe Apodaca. I don't know how to pronounce their last name, and I'm so sorry if I pronounced it wrong. If your family members are watching, I'm so sorry. But then he was actually sentenced. First, it was 3. It was only 3 counts of murder. It was only 3 counts of life sentence. But then they upped it to 4 after they found out he was guilty of the rest of them. So he was actually sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms in prison without parole. So, yeah, you guys. The fact that they let that type of human being roam for so long is like ridiculous, y'all. And y'all, here's another thing. In the interview, he called all his victims grapes. Now, if y'all don't find that disrespectful, I don't know what is. That was one of the most disrespectful things he could have ever said. And the fact that he thought it was like all a joke. Like, if y'all was to see him in the interviews and like see his reaction to a lot of the questions that they were asking him, you guys, I feel like y'all would be so angry and agitated. because he thought it was a big joke. Like, as if you did not just kill 93 different women. But it's just a big joke. It was just like, wow. And he literally said himself, his only plan was to mess around with them and then kill them. And it was just like, wow. Like, wow, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. That's sad. On so many levels. But you guys, that's all I got for y'all today. I'll see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I love you, pretty gang.